Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about technology and satellite, Starlink, and Apple Emergency SOS. Some life-saving technologies that can help you on the road when you do a beautiful family road trip or go with your friends or do a solo road trip that you want to get some time on your own and detox from work and just want to take a break maybe on a weekend or something. So I want to talk about something that's a valuable lesson, help you kind of get a little safety out there, outdoor safety. And I want to go back to this very famous case in 19. Um, it was a very famous case, 2006, November, so it was Thanksgiving. Um, James Kim was I guess, a rising star in the CNET world technology. He was hired by CNET to do tech reviews. And that's him right there and his beautiful family, his young kids at the time, his wife. And they were living in San Francisco where the tech hub was, Silicon Valley. And they did a family trip to Seattle to see one of the relatives. Everything was fine, and they decided to go to Portland and see Kim's wife's friend. Had a nice lunch. And then it was near Thanksgiving, so it was winter time. And they said, you know what? Why don't we stop by this little cabin in Gold Coast, Oregon? If you don't know what Gold Coast, Oregon is, I can have a little map for you right here. So a Gold Beach. So the beach is called Gold Beach, not Gold Coast. And they said so they were in Portland and they were driving down I-5, which is the main road. As you live in California, I-5 connects all the way down San Diego, goes to Santa Ana, and they wanted to stay in this little cabin. It was very nice. His wife said, why don't we stay there for one night and then go back down to San Francisco? So James agreed. But what they didn't know was back then in 2000, it was kind of primitive, the old GPS, Google Maps, and I'm not sure Apple Maps out of time. If it wasn't that great. Google Maps was probably the predominant one. And during that time, it was just 20 years ago almost 20 years ago, it was November 20, Thanksgiving 2026. So we're in 2026, it's almost 25, almost 26 years, you come to Thanksgiving this year. So 25 years ago, basically, during that time, GPS didn't know how to navigate, and what it knew was the fastest route. Now the fastest route is called Bear Camp Road, which is a very Forest Service road, and I don't recommend it. Definitely not in the winter. Locals don't go there. It's supposed to be closed off, but that day it was snowed in and they couldn't see the closure of the gate. So they thought in their mind, like, I want to do a shortcut. I don't want to go down Grand Pass and go to 199, go around, make a U-turn, and go back to Go Beach. And his wife's like, oh, I see a shortcut on the map. They're using some kind of like a Hagstrom map, like a regular paper map, and looking at it and say, why don't you just go down this route? And they found the Google GPS. And at the time, they said, this is the fastest route, the shortcut. And they're like, oh, great, why don't we do that? And then James' wife fell asleep, and into 1 hour he sees James Kim gripping to his face like this. And she's like, what's going on? And she woke up, she sees like they're on the edge of a cliff, all snowy, icy, desolate, like almost nothing, like you're in like, middle of nowhere, remoteness. And a very high, I think, elevation as well, because you're going through a huge like mountain. And it's only one road or something, so. And she told him to turn around. He's like, can't turn around now because it's only one road. Don't go forward. Only when I get to a fork, I have some room to kind of reverse. So she said, no, turn around now. So he had to reverse carefully and be on the edge of a road, like don't fall off. With two young kids. His kids are like very young at the time. Like they're like almost like a baby or something. One's like a baby, one is like, I don't know, a few years old or something, or a toddler. So it's not, they're very young. They're like maybe a few years old and a baby or something. So very, very, in precarious situation with your young kids, and you're in this really narrow road that one wrong move you can actually fall off the cliff and die. So what's very tragic was, and I remember when I was a younger kid, I heard this story in the news, and I know I felt sad, but it doesn't resonate later on. I didn't know what happened, and I started looking deeper into this as I looked more technology and GPS and Starlink. And I realized that they wanted to go to a nice little beach, like a little coast town called Gold Beach. But the GPS led them astray, thinking that it's safe for the family to go to this forest road that is really supposed to be closed. But since it snowed in so hard, and it came so suddenly that they thought it was a regular road. 1 hour into it, they're like somewhere in the middle here. And they didn't know how to go back because they got lost. Because when you go into this road, it forks like 2 ways. Then you go deeper down, it branches again to another 2 ways. Then when you go down, it goes another 2 ways. But what happened was at that time, there's no cell service, there's no Starlink, there's no internet in these kind of like very remote, desolate sort of outdoor places. So you have no satellite connection. This is like 25 years ago. So that's why. So unfortunately, he got stuck, and what happened was he tried to. He stayed in the cars for a few days, hoping that someone can help them, help him and his family, because he was lost, number one, and he was snowed in, like a few feet of snow, very bad winter. This is Thanksgiving. Oregon is kind of like in New Jersey and New York or upstate New York. You go up there, a lot of snow. Could be a blizzard. We had like a big snowstorm recently, and across America, and some places like New Jersey, New York was high, and so I assumed. I don't think California got it, Oregon got it, but very, very big winters. Could be 12 feet or more. So they were stuck, and they didn't know what to do. So essentially, he tried to walk out with his. He tried to go out. He waited a few days, and said, "Oh, you know what? I think there's a town called Galis. It's nearby. Maybe it's a few miles walk. I could walk there and get cell signal. I can get help." But unfortunately, he had wasn't prepared for this. He walked out and hiked and hiked and hiked for literally miles. But he got so cold it could succumb to hypothermia that he fell into a ditch and he died. And then finally the family was rescued by people because they were missing, because they're supposed to be back in working and back home in San Francisco. And when they're missing for a few days, they quickly called a massive rescue search. It was on big news, massive rescue search, and they finally found them. And the point of the story is that if you ever get like his situation, Oregon, stay in your car. Don't wander off, because if you wander off somewhere, no one knows where you went off, right? No one's gonna know where you are. And number two, that's where your shelters, right? Your car is bigger. They can see a helicopter from the car. They can target that. They know you're near a car. If you go like 10 miles away, they can't. It's hard to find you. And number two, these days, thank God with satellite technology, we have SpaceX, which has Starlink Mini. Garmin InReach is a little device which I can take a picture. I'll show you a picture up here. It's been around for a while, and not much people know about it unless you're really an outdoorsy person. But Garmin InReach is another device where you can buy and pay a subscription. So it looks like this. So you buy the device, you pay I think a small subscription, and that acts like a satellite phone. That's been around for a while, but not people know it. And I'm sure you heard of the Apple Emergency SOS, and this is probably a Google version of this as well. So that's just a device on your phone that if you get caught and there's no cell signal, you can see something like so put your emergency information in here, and you can see something like, oh, no satellite, text to satellite, and you point your phone in the open sky, make sure it's not blocked by some kind of tree or something like that, and every second the satellite will swing by, it will connect, and you have time to shoot the message, and the message will be like, oh, what is it? Is it like, are you stuck or something? Or there's some pre-message that say, I'm hurt, I'm stuck or something. And you tell them what it is. And then the satellite will get it to a relay center. Relay will call the local authorities, search and rescue. So this would be Oregon, search and rescue locally in the county. So local search and rescue will come, and within, could be the same day or next day, they'll get you. Because sometimes when you're too remote and it's snowing, it's hard for them to get you. So it could be the next day they find you in the morning. Luckily, hopefully it's within a few hours. But it should be the next day if it's really treacherous, if it's snowing really hard, and the helicopter can't land because you're like in a very difficult place, and it's very hard for them to maneuver, right? Because they might lose their own lives saving you. So that's one thing. Starlink, you buy it from SpaceX, and then you hook it up, and that's another way. Or T-Mobile, Starlink. This works. I tried it in Big Sur when I went there one day. So T-Mobile, Starlink. I think you can subscribe to this, where it gives you basic text, and it acts like a Starlink. It just texts. It's all you're activated. You can go text people now. And how it looks like this. It looks like a Starlink connection, T-Mobile. And what it does is essentially it will basically give you coverage, and you can text to your family, or maybe text to your family or someone you know to get help, and that's the easiest way. Or assume you could text 911 as well. I think you can do maybe a FaceTime audio or something. I don't know, but that should work. So no more dead zones, So that's T-Mobile, Starlink. But the easiest one is if you have an iPhone or Android. I'm sure Google has the same thing as a Emergency SOS equivalency, and you can get help now these days, and you won't be left like James Kim, the famous technology guy that hypothermia trying to save his family. So there was a recent case in Oregon family that used Apple, I think, Emergency SOS, because they got lost like James Kim. But in this situation, it was a happy ending. So there's a news here. Yeah, I think here it is right here. So let's see. Oh no, that's one. Yeah, right here. So 4 adults, 2 kids. A 24-hour long hike, I think, is stranded in Mount Hood, Oregon. So kind of similar story. They were one of them had a Apple iPhone, sent out that distress signal saying, "Hi, I need help, we're lost." Similar to James Kim, but that was 25 years ago. Now we have technology, thank God. And this was in Clackamas County Sheriff's Office, so that's a local office. And they said they started hiking Salmon Trailhead in Mount Hood in the winter. They got stranded, they got lost, and the ground crew set out to find them. And they were able to reach out the next morning because it was too treacherous in the nighttime. They were cold, wet, and dehydrated. And the family hiked nearly 8 miles, gained 3,500 feet, which is kind of high and quite a long track, 8 miles. But this is kind of search and rescue happy ending. So they boarded a snowcat at 10 a.m. and difficult terrains. They brought them back to the command post 24 hours later. So this is the difference between James Kim, CNET, and the family who got caught with this very similar situation where they went well, this one they went hiking, but they got caught in the snow, they got lost, and in the middle of nowhere, like in the Mount Hood forest. But lucky when they had them, they just had distress signal, SOS, and then the Apple, you can say, "Hey, I'm lost, I'm hurt," and they'll know what, and then they have the exact satellite location now. So the key is you gotta stay put, don't walk anywhere else, stay put, huddle, keep warm, and it'll come and get you. Maybe not that night because it's dark, it's snowing, it's a very difficult environment to land a helicopter, to get a snowcat in. So they had to think of what vehicle makes sense to reach your point of entry, because you're like on a cliff or something. You hang around a cliff or something. That's very hard to get. I mean, you can't land a helicopter on a small little platform when you're on the cliff or something. So that's the reason why I recommend that, and I want to share a story because it's important for you to stay safe when you go with your family, your friends. Even when you go solo, you're a solo hiker and you love the outdoors, like many people do, just to take a break. But sometimes you might get lost. You walk like these little trees are here, a lot of pine trees, so many, like it looks the same after a while. You walk for like 20 minutes, next thing you know, like what the hell looks the same? Like I would have no idea where I came from. We're walking through the woods like by myself. So it's like, I mean, I wouldn't really know what is what, So I can get lost very easily too. That's why I don't venture so deep into these kind of woods myself. But But now you know what to do, and what do you have? You have basically a couple of items. You have the iPhone, Google equivalent. You have Starlink. You can bring one yourself, a mini one. You have and a Garmin InReach. You could buy a device if you like. If you hike a lot, that's a good one to have as a safety net to go hiking. So, but I think one of those should suffice. Make sure you charge your battery before you go out. Make sure it's fully charged, like your iPhone or something. And then so you have enough, and battery save most. You can conserve through the whole day and text if you need to. So that's what I recommend. I mean, you also have the T-Mobile Starlink that can also connect to your family and friends through a satellite. So as long as you have those things, I think you're okay. So, okay, that's it for this episode. Thank you very much.